Welcome back to Vancouver Carpenter. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to jam out, not in your garage, but how to jam out your window and how to case it too. Okay, one of the first things you need to do when jamming out the window is establish an even distance between the frame of the window all the way around so that you wind up, ideally, with the weld of the window going directly into the corner right there. Okay, so how I've done this is I had to find basically the smallest distance to the window. And then what I did was I got that distance set with this, I put the jam on, and we established a line on the window as to where the finished edge of the windowsill is going to be. So if you come take a look at this right here, we can see that when we take this jam stock, so this is finger joint pine. I only use finger joint pine for the jam because I don't want the moisture from a window to potentially come in and swell up MDF. So don't use MDF for this. Definitely use finger joint pine or some other real wood. And even for the shims, I'm being sure to use real wood, not MDF. So we established a line all the way around here by using one of these. We butt it up to the line like so. And then I marked all the way around the window, little lines, little lines, little lines. I then took this chunk of wood and my tape measure, and I put this on here like that, and I took a measurement. So we had 1/2 inch, because what I know is that now if I put a 1/2 inch chunk in right here, it's going to bring this out to that consistent line. So we're going to have a consistent line all the way around. And you can see I even had to do it before I could even put this windowsill on. I actually had to figure it out so I knew where the ends of my casing were. But as you can see, now that's all going to line up like that. So first thing I got to do, I got a bunch of these little measurements. I have to cut little blocks that are going to be to those exact measurements all the way around, because this is really uneven. The framing goes all over the place. So, you know, we've got variances from like 9/16, 5/8 small, 11/16. It goes all over the place. 3/4, 3/8, all sorts of stuff. And so, yeah, we got a bunch of random measurements. We need 2 at 5/8. Make sure it's tall enough. I only needed a couple, and they're super short blocks, so I'm just doing this with all the little pieces I need before I go nail them on. Okay, 5/8, 3/8. Okay, I got this little 3/8 chunk here that'll do. Use that to hold it down. If this gets caught in the saw, it's going to hurt a lot less than if my hand gets caught in the saw. Okay, now you can nail all these things on. Move your hand so you don't nail it. And it's important to make sure that these don't stick out past the drywall. 5/8. Three-quarters. This is so fiddly, but let's see. Oh! Let's see if it's worth it in the end. Crazy how all over the place this is. 3/8. We're almost done. It's so much work. It's fiddly. But again, it's going to pay off in the end. 3/8. All right, take your time on the framing, and it's going to look good after. So next we got to get a measurement. I like to start on the top. Oh, first thing we need to determine is our width of the material. That's going to be the distance from the window right here to the drywall edge. We got about 2.5. It's a bit bigger than 2.5. Bit smaller than 2.5. Yeah, bit smaller than 2.5. 2.25. What the heck? 2.25. Oh man. 2 3/8. 2 3/8. 2 3/8. 2.5. Ah! I don't like it. 2 7/16 might be what we do for all of it. 2 3/8. Oh, that look. 2 3/8. No, that's good. 2 3/8. What happens if we do that here? 2 3/8. That's not that bad. So much figuring, you guys. 2 3/8 will be actually pretty good right there. Okay, I changed my mind. We're going to 2 3/8 for the whole thing. Okay, so I'm measuring between my shims here. It could be, I'm gonna do 35 1/4 because it could slip in there. No problem, 35 1/4. Don't need to cut off the factory ends because they're gonna be buried. 35 1/4. And then we want, like we established, we actually want 2 3/8, and this is 2 1/2 plus. So 2 3/8 right there. I always like to sand the edge. Makes it look better. The one that goes against the window and that you can see. Now we're gonna nail into our little shims. That'll work, right there. Okay, now we're gonna do the legs. So this side, this is a pretty quick and easy measurement. Just go from down here to up here. That's 45 1/2. And if we really squared it up, this should be the same, but it might vary a little. Oh, it's not exactly the same. So something's not gonna be perfect, but I can live with it. 45 3/16. That's a big difference. What's going on here? How's this? 1 1/8. 1 1/8 small. So it's gonna be in the bottom here. 1 1/8. 1 1/8. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, so what was that again? 45 5/8 plus. And I'm gonna work with the number that I still remember. 45 5/8 plus. And this is the left-hand side, so I'm gonna give it, oh, not a 4, left. I try never to make my pencil marks really harsh. I don't want to dent the paint, and I don't want to have a big black mark that's really hard to cover with paint. So that is our finished side, I would say. This side's a little bit nicer. And 45 1/2. I'm almost skeptical of this measurement now because it was 3/16 different almost. So I'm going to double check before I cut it. Let's check the inside. Yeah, 45 1/2. I think the sill slopes a tiny bit. I think that's all it is. It'll be close enough. Do your best and caulk the rest. So now we know we need to cut these. Once it gets like under 3 1/2 inches or so, I don't like pushing my hand through. That's where I use the push stick. What's this one? This is the left-hand side. That's gonna go against the window. I want a quick sand. If you're lucky, the material just fits and it's not a big deal. But in this case, this wall isn't a regular thickness, so. Left-hand side. That's nice. That's really nice. Those dents aren't nice though. How's this side look? That is the better side apparently. Okay, now we can just nail that in. And I'm nailing where all my shims are. Got to nail into your shims. Okay, all right, these two line up. See, welds going boom into the corner, boom into the corner. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing. That side looks nice. Let's use this side. I always look at the trim and see which side has the least dents or which side the paint is nicer on. Ah, so there's the one we blew it on. You know what? I'm just gonna live with it. Or I can fudge it a little bit. There, that's as good as it's gonna get. Why did that end up so small? This just clearly needs to come out a bunch. But then that's 1 inch instead of 1 inch and 1/8. What do we do? Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna shim it. Just take this piece, shove that in there. That's better. I can live with that. That one's good. Here's that other chunk right there. Just put that in there to make it not look so crooked. It's better. How about that? Does that need one now? Yeah, it will. Doesn't even need much. Just a little bit. Okay, we had one little nail poking out, but we now have all of the joints lining up on the welds, looking all pretty. Come on. There we go. Now we're gonna trim this. And so this part is pretty quick and easy. So we're gonna take this guy, the tool whose name I can't remember, because I know how to use tools, not remember their names. Tool nerds. One there, one in the middle. And right here, this tool works nicely like this, because it's a 1/4 inch on the other side too. Okay, we've got that one marked. Mark up here. One in the middle. And one at the bottom. Okay guys, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out our top measurement. So that is, the miter point is gonna be this line to this line. And we know that's a 1/4 inch on both of them. So what we can do is we could just measure the inside measurement right here, 33.5, and then we can add a 1/2 inch to that. So that's what we're gonna do. Add a 1/2 inch, 34. That's gonna be our miter measurement. So right here, 34. And then right here, we're gonna measure from the sill up to that. So it's 46 small. And these tend to grow a little bit after you put them together. I've experienced this. So I'm actually gonna go 45 and 15/16. I find sometimes what happens when you try and go too exact is you actually end up past your lines when it's all put together. We already know this one's probably gonna be different. 45 and 13/16 small. 45 and 13/16 small. I'm gonna go 45 and 3/4. Got a lot of measurements here, so let's put a little circle on it so we know which one it is. Okay, we're almost done, guys. I hope we have enough stock here. Oh God, tell me we have enough. Oh man. I have this horrible feeling we might be short. Okay, no wasted material. We know that's a good 45. Let's get it 45 on here. Let's line this up right here. Let's do our top one first. So I've lined it up with this thing perfectly. We're now gonna go 34. Mark it right there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get another piece of trim. I know it. There's our top piece. Let's put that right here. Okay, so our left side is, let's do the same thing from right here. Line that up. Our left-hand side is going to be 45 and 15/16. Yeah, we're short. 45 and 15. Maybe, probably. It's like so close. It looks like it's gonna be an inch short. Yeah, it's like 3 inches short. I have to get another piece just so we can finish this job, but the lumberyard is right down the street. Oh man.
A few moments later.
Last piece. And I don't know if I have enough to do it again if I mess it up. All right, so we've got the left-hand side, now we need the right, and it is 45 and 3/4 plus. Just glad the lumberyard is like a block away. 45 and 3/4 plus. I'm gonna double check these pieces too before I glue them up, because I don't want to mess that up. And then I'd have to come back tomorrow and do it again. Okay. Okay, let's check the legs real quick. I normally wouldn't do this. I normally trust my work, but because I don't have anything extra. Okay, that's a tiny bit short, but that's okay. We can lift it. And that one's pretty well bang on. So that'll work. Let's check the header before we go ahead and glue this up. Be right, be right. Good, good. Okay. All right, let's do this. Oh, I remember this stuff. It's nice and cold when it gets your hand. Must be maybe there's acetone, I don't know. All right, so I shouldn't have done both sides, but I guess we'll just have to get it done quick. All right, come get a nice close-up of this. So here's how I like to do this one. Let's make sure the glue's even coming out. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so get it close to the top, but not on the actual top. And close to the bottom, but not on the actual bottom. All right, so then you want to line these up like so. Make sure that it's pushed flat. Line that up. Boom, done. Hold it. I'm just waiting a minute. It dries pretty instantly, but I just want to wait a little bit. Okay, that's probably long enough, and I shouldn't have sprayed accelerator onto this side because now I have to glue this one here. But anyways, let's spray a little more of this on here because it might have, I don't know if it dries or if it's just straight up chemical and doesn't need to be sprayed again, not sure. And this would be easier to do if I had a flatter surface instead of this plywood, but I have what I have. Okay, perfect. Hold. All right, you guys, we just had to change the mics. Hopefully the sound isn't too different, but yeah, now's the time. So, you know, after about a minute or so, this stuff's pretty darn strong. You still want to be careful with it though, you know, you don't want to like torque it, twist it, or bang it against anything really hard. But I have done a strength test on this stuff. I have some videos in the past where I do some strength tests, and I was surprised at how actually strong this stuff is. So, now it's time to nail it up. And I'm not gonna do too many nails right by my miters right now. I wanna let them kind of settle up. I'm gonna eyeball my lines. We're looking pretty good. I'm staying a few inches away from my miters. A little bit away from my miters is just, you know, I don't want to put extra pressure on them and ruin that nice work I just did. Okay, these could use a bit more nails now. Depends who you're asking. Some people would say it was good. Almost done. A couple more right here. Alright you guys, that is how to jam out with your casing. So yeah, that's it you guys. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you're putting together some windows and some sills and everything, and I hope it looks awesome. I hope you're proud of your work. I'm happy with this, so thanks for watching Vancouver Carpenter. Till the next video.